I'm Drubs, welcome back to the Litanah Army. I'm Lit, and this is FIFA 20. A couple of people have asked in Discord and in the comments about what team am I using at the moment. Now, when I first started off FIFA 20, I was so bad. I didn't play FIFA 19 for the longest time because I was doing other things on YouTube. I was really busy with my family life and stuff like that, so I didn't really get much FIFA 19 in, to be fair. The last FIFA that I played a lot of was the one before it, FIFA 18. So I was really bad. Now, what happened is my first, I would say, 18, 19 games, I went without a win in Division Rivals. So I went, the record at the top you can see there actually says 25, 15, 44. But the first probably just under 20 games I lost out straight. So it was 0-0, like 20 or something like that. Now what happened is I changed the team around, I bought a team in and I started to win a little bit better. Changed the formation quite a lot as well. And I started playing the way that feels better for me, you know. And I know it's the meta at the moment, which is the deep line, back line, and then catch people on the break, which works really, really well for me. But I've started to win again now, and my win rate probably now, I'm probably winning 2 out of 3 games, which is great. If you look on there now, so what's that? So 40 games. So 40 games where I've not lost, 25 wins, 15 draws, and then 44 games where I have lost. That's okay, I'm alright with that so far. But let's look at the team that we're actually using at the moment. Oh, guys, before I do that as well, don't forget to like and subscribe, and secondly, check this out. I was telling you in the earlier video about sometimes that I've put placeholders in, so some of these players I've just got ready for Team of the Week, so I think Vela's going to be in Team of the Week, so I've listed him at almost his max price, 9,800 and a 10,000 bid on there as well. But check this out, I put this guy on. So this is a rare silver that I got, 4,500, 5,000, which is an insane price for this guy. And he sold at 5,000, which is just nuts. So we just made 5 grand selling a rare silver there, which is great. You know, I'm happy with that. I don't know if the others have sold yet. I don't even care if they do or don't. You know, then they weren't supposed to sell yet. But alright, if they go through, they go through. So let's have a look at this Prem team then that we've actually got. So the Premier team that I use at the minute, this is it. Look, it's not all bells and whistles. I'm not like Bateson or anyone like that who's got these crazy insane teams with De Bruyne and Aguero and all these guys. Do you know, this is a team where I can just go in with into division rivals, in between trading, and I can win with. You know, I've got a decent chance against any team. I don't care if they bring legends, I don't care if they bring whatever it is, I can usually at least hold my own. You know, it's never a big loss. I don't lose you know, by big amounts anymore, by big margins, because this is how I've set the team up. So let me just show you what I've got, and this should be able to be done on a budget. So we've actually got Leno at the back there. For the longest time I had Schmeichel, who was actually really good. I've upgraded to Leno. If you have a quick look at these two, the main reason being is the positioning is a little bit better, and the diving is slightly better as well. But if you have a look on there, actually, Schmeichel's not, you know, not far off. So you can either go Schmeichel if you want a cheaper option in there, or you can go Leno in there as well. But Leno's really, really decent. I've got the cap modifier on him. So if we actually just go and have a quick look at him there, he's actually got his reflexes, his speed, and his positioning bumped up as well, which helps a lot. His diving leaves a little bit to be desired. That's sometimes where I lose out with him, but he's still good. You know, overall, he's saved me in many, many games, this player. So Leno definitely would go for. Looking at the centre-backs then, what I've done with the centre-backs, I've put Sentinel on both of them, so that bumps up your defence and physical. When you're looking for a good centre-back, they're the 2 main stats that you really want more than anything. If you can get a bit of pace on there as well, even better. So what I'm really lucky at, if you look on there, we've got Matip on there who's got 61 pace, and then we've got Ake on there as well who's got 75 pace. That's way over what I need for this position, which is great. And because I've got Sentinel on there, I've got the defence and physical bumped up, 81 defence and 77 physical. And if we look at Matip on there, 83 defense and 76 physical, which is absolutely great. These two are really solid at the back. Now obviously there are better options out there, you can upgrade these later on, but as a starting team there's not much that's going to get through there. If you're holding these back a little bit, and I'll show you the tactics later on in the video, but if you keep these pretty deep, they don't have to be too deep because they've got a little bit of pace about them, but if you keep these back a little bit, you're going to be, you know, you're going to be in a good place. At the back, I've got Yedlin. Look at that pace, 92 pace. That is insane. So to have 92 pace at the back, it just works really well for me. And I have an anchor on there as well. So if you put anchor on, it bumps his pace up even more. 71 defense and 70 physical. Now check this out. If you have a look on there, look at that pace, 92 plus 5 because we've got anchor on there. Sprint speed, 92. Plus 5 again because we've got anchor on there, which is just awesome. His defending is not the best. Your 71's quite low, but you've got the pace, so you're going to be still getting back. You're going to be backtracking. Very few wingers. There are going to be some, but very few wingers are going to outpace you. They're going to need a good start on you if they're going to beat you, because his acceleration's great as well. So even if you're turning, you know, if someone catches you on the turn, you can often catch them with Yedlin. He's so good down that wing, and his defending's bumped up as well. So this guy, for me, as a cheap-ish option, is pretty good. He was, for me, at first, one of the most expensive people on the team, but he should be an early investment. If you're going to upgrade anybody, Yedlin should be the first one you should get at right back. This is who I've got. I've got Angelino on the left back there. Now, there's not many options for left back. You know, when you're looking for a left back in a Prem team, it's pretty difficult. You know, there's not many options at left back, but he's all right. I've put anchor on him again, so we're going to increase his pace, we're going to increase his defending, and we're going to increase his jumping. But if you look there, 87, I've got the +5 and +5 again on the sprint speed as well. So again, he can backtrack pretty fast. Not quite as good as Yedlin, but he's still pretty darn fast. His physical's great on there. He's got 78 physical, which we've bumped up again because we've got anchor on there, and we've got the defending on there as well, which is pretty decent. For what he does for his job, he's great. You know, he actually works really, really well. On this side, you know what you want to be looking at is probably getting a Kyle Walker. This side, you can probably go a Liverpool or a Man City left back, and you should be absolutely fine. But that back line and that keeper is important. When you're making a Prem team, a lot of people tend to focus on the strikers first and work their way back down the team, because let's face it, these players up at the front are the most exciting. These are the ones who, you know, get all the glory. These are the ones who get the goals. These are the ones who put them killer through balls through. But I would always recommend start off with a good back four and a good goalkeeper, and you'll be in better stead to win a lot more games when it comes to division rivals. Now, if you look in the centre, what I've got is here, everyone who has a CDM in the team, this is probably the go-to guy. This guy, right up until you can start getting up to the like 87s, 88 plus cards, this guy's the one who you want. xReApeR in there is absolutely beastly, you know, when it comes to CDMs. If we look at his actual stats in here, if you look on there, I've actually put backbone on him as well. But if you have a look on there, what we've actually got, let's have a look what stats get bumped here. So passing, physical, and defense is what I've gone for bumping. When you go for a CDM, for me, again, the most important stats for a good CDM are defense and physical. I want this guy to block everything coming through. I don't need a huge amount of pace, but I do need passing, because these guys are going to be the distributors, distributing the ball to the front lines, you know, to my wingers or to my attackers. So it's really important that you get good defense, good physical, and decent passing on there. And, you know, having backbone on there, that covers everything. That gives me a little bump on everything there. But his main places where he stands out, his dribbling's great at 80. He's got 81 defense, which is great. When they're trying to pass through you, and when the other player, when your opponent's trying to pass through your team, you know, having xReApeR in there, I can't even pronounce his name, xReApeR. Having xReApeR in there is actually really good, because he'll just block a lot of shots and then you run. If he's cutting passing lanes, you don't really need to do that with him. He'll do it anyway. You know, he's so good. His physical leaves a little bit to be desired. He's not the most physical player on there, but again, having that backbone on there just means that you're going to get a little bump to his physical as well, putting his strength up. 66 strength. Most people are going to be able to muscle him off the ball, so you need to get rid of the ball quickly with him. But if you have this on there with the physical, he can usually hold his own, and it'll just make him much, much better. Now, Henderson was one of those players who I was in a lot of turmoil over. I couldn't decide who I wanted to put in there, because I've actually got, you know, really good. I was using Decore for the longest time. I bought Henderson in like afterwards. So if you want a cheap option, definitely, you know, go with Decore in there. But what I changed it to is to Henderson later on. One, because I've got the Oxlade. Damn it. Don't put him in there. Don't put him in there. What am I doing? Let's put Henderson back in a second. So I had Decore in there, but I put Henderson in there because I've got the Liverpool link up with Oxlade-Chamberlain on there. But if you have a quick look at these two, let's compare these two together a minute. So Decore and Henderson. Now, what I look for in a CDM, like we've just said, is physical and defense. Now, if you have a look on there, Decore has got better stats in both of those. He's got better defense 79, and he's got better physical 82. They're only marginal, it's only slight, but still, it makes a huge difference. Now, if you look on there, dribbling on there is slightly better with Henderson, but what changed it for me was the passing. The passing on Henderson was so much better, 10 points better, in fact, that I couldn't not pick him. It just meant distributing the ball forward then. If I'm trying to get the ball forward to Ox or to Lingard or to my two forwards, it was just much, much better. And I did find sometimes he was able to put that killer ball through where Decore wasn't, you know. So definitely Henderson's the better choice. But if you've not got the money for Henderson straight away, then definitely, you know, go for Decore. He's definitely a good pick. Which takes us to the cams then. So the first cam that I got was Lingard. Lingard's a great cam to actually have on there. I'm comparing these with Decore. But yeah, Lingard's actually great. He's a great player. He's got 80 pace on there. Shooting's 84. Passing 76. Dribbling 83. Defense 58, he doesn't need that though, and then physical 72. The main thing with Lingard, I find, and I don't know if you guys are the same, I find Lingard gets pushed off the ball like he's nothing. He's almost like a paperweight when it comes. I don't know if that's, I don't see him like that in real life, but you know, in FIFA, he just gets shoved off the ball so easily. So what I've actually gone for on there with him, if you have a look on there, I believe that's Architect that I've got on there. So I've actually gone for Architect for physical and passing, because I need him sometimes. What he does, he's got enough pace, I think, to hold his own down that wing. I'm not trying to outrun the back wingers there. I'm trying to get the ball into the centre. The way that I play is try and get the ball into the centre, up to Wilson and up to POKY, so that I can land them killer shots in, or even, you know, get around the back of the defenders, or even outrun them, catch them on the break. So that's the way that I play. So I don't need to outrun right backs. I think the right backs and left backs are so good in this game and so fast that just seems to be an option that doesn't work for me. I've tried that style of play. Doesn't really work for me. So I need to get the ball inwards and pass it. Once I get it to Lingard, dribble a little bit forward and then get it in. His dribbling's 83, which is fantastic, and his passing's decent as well, which I've got a bump on thanks to Architect on there as well. And the physical just means he doesn't get pushed off the ball as easily, making him a great choice. Lingard's one of those as well. He'll just pull a goal out of nowhere. His positioning and where he actually lends up is phenomenal. His awareness in the game and where he is on FIFA, his work rate and everything else is just really good. So he's definitely worth picking up. The other one I go for is Oxlade-Chamberlain. Now, this is the one where I've been in a bit of turmoil with Ozil. You know, I could put Ozil in there. I wouldn't have the link up then with Henderson, but that's not the end of the world. What I find the difference is, and the reason that I go with Ox, is if you look on there, pace 82, Ox can sometimes outrun where he needs to at. If I need to go on the break or I'm counter-attacking, which the style that I play, then Ozil is not always quick enough to make them breaks that I need him to make. The shooting's similar, you know, 73 Ox, and Ozil's got 72. That's not a big deal. Look at the passing on there. Ozil's passing 86. He does put loads of killer balls through. He is deadly. Even when it comes to crossing as well, he's pretty decent when it comes to crossing, Ozil. His dribbling is pretty similar, 83, 84. Defending and physical, don't really need, but Oxlade-Chamberlain, 76 physical. If I'm getting into a bit of a ding-dong up front, or it's one of those games where I'm having to dig in, then I tend to go for him. Ozil is definitely the better player, so I know there's a lot of people screaming there, put Ozil in. For me personally, I win a lot more games if I go Oxlade-Chamberlain, just because I find he's a little bit more meaty, you know, when he gets in there. He's better at getting into the tackles, and his passing, for what I need him for, is fine. I just need him to knock that forward. If I'm going on a bit of a bad run, or if I'm playing a player who I can break quite often, I'll always switch Ozil in. The main sub that I make for this team, the most common sub that I make, is Ozil and Oxlade-Chamberlain. I'm constantly changing them two around. But you know, Oxlade-Chamberlain's a great choice, and if you can afford him later on, then you've got an option with Ozil as well. Okay, so the money players then. Now, POKY, I did a video on, you can actually see how to get him super simple. You can put in 2 teams of about 10,000 coins and you can get POKY. And POKY at the minute is an absolute beast. Now, there's going to be other players and other team of the week players that are going to come in and we're going to outshine him, if you like, later on. Let me just get this. I think I'm comparing him with Oxlade-Chamberlain at the minute. But if we look on there, we'll just go into his stats. Let's look at POKY just for a second. So, if you look, I've gone for Viper on there that I've got, which actually bumps up his pace and his shooting, which is all I need from POKY. That is it. His dribbling as well could be a little bit better, but overall, he's already really great. So we've got on there pace 84, shooting's 84, which is great for a player for, well, almost free. I mean, you could say 20,000 coins, but you'd pay a lot more. If you got someone like Gabriel Jesus or someone who's a similar player to him in terms of stats, you'd pay a lot more. You'd be going up to 35, 40,000. This player you can get for, like I said, probably 20,000. I know some of you guys have got it for even less. You commented on the last video that we did. If you have a look at the little circular eye in the top corner of this video, you can actually see on there the POKY video on how to get him for super cheap using the SBCs. But he's passing on there. I don't pass very often with him unless we're just crossing the ball across, maybe trying to dink a ball through to Wilson, who's also up front with him. Dribbling's 80, which is fine for what he needs to. Defending, don't need all that much. And physical, 76. If you're trying to force your way through, or you've got an opponent who's digging in quite often, then a little bit extra physical goes a long way. But POKY scored me a ton of goals. He's currently my top goal scorer at the moment. And only by like 2 or 3 goals. Wilson's actually holding up with him, but he's just such a great player. Now, if we have a look over at Wilson, over here. He's another one. I picked Wilson up super cheap when we first started out. Now, on Wilson, I've actually gone for Hawk that I've got on there, bumping up his pace, his shooting, and his physical. His physical 75. Wilson can't always get through if an opponent's digging in, so I often have to offload the ball over to POKY, which is why he's got a few more goals than what Wilson's got. Sometimes I have to get it, break through the defense, and then, offload the ball over to POKY, so I've got that extra strength. But he's still pretty decent. I mean, POKY's only got 76 physical on there as well. So if we go across on here, no, we don't need to go across on there at all. If we actually go into his stats on there, what we've got on there, look, pace 87, with a bump on there as well, with +5, he's super fast. We've also got on there his shooting, which is decent. We've got his passing on there, which is okay. I don't desperately need passing on there. He doesn't have to be a visionary when it comes to passing, as long as he can hold his own, which 67 he's fine with. Dribbling's good on there as well. That's the only thing I think that lets Wilson down, which doesn't make him he would be a bigger beast of a player and someone who really stood out. His pace is what puts him up there for me. If his dribbling was better with that pace and with that shooting, which is plenty, then he would be even better. He would be phenomenal. Defending we don't really need, and his physical, again, is enough. It's decent. Putting Hawk on there as well just works for me. You can put Hawk on POKY as well, and that would actually work. Some notable players that I've got on here that worked for me early on. So before I actually made some changes to this team, Schmeichel was a great keeper. He's definitely one worth picking up. Decore is a great option for CDM just because he's like a bull in the middle. He's so strong and he's really hard to get through. Now, Fred, I couldn't really get on with Fred. If you look, he's a CM there. I wasn't using him in the tactic I had initially. I'm not a huge Fred fan. He wasn't all that great for me. But I know some people do like him. I can see why he just doesn't work for me. If he's going to be a CM, he's just not quite got the stats yet. I think you can get better players cheaper. Ozil, great buy. He's someone, if you can get him, definitely pick him up. Wesley was who I had before Wilson, and Wesley can score quite a lot. Again, the reason Wesley's so good, I think, and the reason he stands out, now he's not the paciest of player, but you can bump that up using a chemistry card. He's physical. His physical is 88. He's really hard to dispossess and get the ball off. So I had a lot of, if you can get him getting in behind defenders, what you found is a lot of the time with him, he was, even if he had his back to goal or whatever it was, he could kind of power through sometimes where a lot of, even POKY and Wilson right now, couldn't get through. 88 physical on the striker. He's like Benteke was in FIFA, I think he was 17 or 18. Benteke was kind of like that. It was just really powerful getting through, and he's just someone who I think should be picked up. Giroud is a little bit more of a technical player. I kind of work all right with Giroud. I didn't plan on keeping him. I got him out of a pack. I didn't buy him. I wasn't planning on keeping him. And Giroud is a great player in real life. FIFA never really does good. 46 pace for me is unforgivable for a striker. I don't think 46 pace works very well. Definitely doesn't work with my playstyle. If you're someone though who plays a bit more of a technical game than what I do, then Giroud is actually really, really good. He was great at getting the headers. I've scored the only headers that I've scored in this game. Nearly all Giroud. I think I got one with Ozil as well. But Giroud's the heading king for me. So if you want someone who you can bounce balls off into the box, if you're playing with wingers and you're crossing the ball in a lot, Giroud's actually a pretty good person because his positioning's great and his actual heading ability is pretty decent as well. Loftus-Cheek, found him to be trash. Maitland-Niles was pretty good, at right back. Again, didn't work really good with this player. So, Ceballos I wasn't really great with. Dini's pretty good. I kind of like this player. He was pretty awesome. Defense, 83. Physical, 82. He's probably, if it wasn't for Decore and for the CDMs I've got now, he would definitely be my fourth choice. I just don't see the point of putting 4 into my main team. Do you know what? You can actually have Fred's place. There you go. You can have Fred's place. We've got a full replacement now for the CDMs if we need it. Gomez was a great centre-back as well, and he was the last one. I used Gomez for ages. He was really, really good for me. He worked really well. Again, doesn't quite stack up to the 2 that we've got, to Matip and Ake, but he was all right. And obviously, manager, I think everyone should have Chris Wilder because the guy's an absolute god. Now, I'll very quickly do the tactics, so I don't want to bore you guys, and keep the video going on for too long, if we can help it. But the tactics that I use, let's have a quick look on there. So I use drop back and fast build up. This is kind of the meta at the minute. It's kind of sad, all you got to do is have just defend deep. Width, you can change it out a little bit. I tend to have the width just about middle. Fast build up, width again about middle. I play more, I play more central. So, but I don't want to have just that. If you play too narrow, I tend to find I get bossed on the wings. If I play about the middle on both of these, tend to be fine. Width, like I said, I try and keep the team about the same. Players in box I keep down pretty low so I can keep players back. And again, I don't really need it. I'm always trying to get on the break. Corners and free kicks I have on 3, and that's the main thing. The formation that I use, as you've seen already, I get more wins with this one. Is 4-2-2-2. That tends to be the best one for me with the 2 CDMs. And if you've got your players all right on there, again, it's meta. It's a bit ugly right now, but it does get you wins. It's going to get you lots of wins and lots of games. So while I'm trading and while I'm building up my team for now, this is what I'm using, and that team can hold its own against anybody. You know, any other team. Now, I had a guy using DPA, you know, I had a really great team the other day. He was using DPA and he did really, really good against me. He got 2 goals early on, but we came back throughout the match. We dug in and we got a 2-all. And it was kind of just showing, though, the depth of team he had. He probably had, I reckon, a squad worth, you know, well over what mine is. I mean, his squad's probably worth about 1.5 million with all the players that he had. My squad's worth nowhere near that, and it could more than hold its own with him. But guys, let me know what you think. Is there any players that you change out on there? Have you got any recommendations for me as well? I'm not the oracle on FIFA 20, and I never claim to be. I always like to have a little bit of discussion. So if you think, Litanah, change Henderson out for this guy, change Oxlade-Chamberlain out for this one, you'll see a big dramatic change. Let me know in the comments down below. I would absolutely love to know. But thanks for being patient, guys, and listening to this. Massive, if you're not part of the Litanah Army already, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to drop me a like. It helps out tons, and it just really helps the video out and get seen. And better yet, if you want to be an absolute legend, if you want to be the absolute best that you can be, then share this video with someone, be it on Twitter, show it to a friend or whatever it may be, but that would help me out even more. But massive thanks for watching, guys. Good luck getting more wins, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care now.